It was a lightning round of motions in the George Zimmerman murder trial today. The judge handed a series of pretrial victories to the prosecution, including barring the defense from introducing information about Florida teenager Trayvon Martin at trial. The Martin family attorney says the judge made the right call.
This information was not relevant. It was inadmissible. And so we have to not let people get away with trying to pollute a jury pool.
George Zimmerman, who was charged with second-degree murder in the death of Trayvon Martin, was not in court today, but his brother made a desperate plea to the state.
George is a good, decent, and honest man. It is now my honor to advocate for him. George is in the fight for his life quite literally. As the oldest son, the only right thing for me to do is everything I can do to deliver him back to our parents. The only right way to do it is by relying on truth.
CNN's David Mattingly live in Sanford, Florida for us. And David, the judge drew some pretty clear lines today. Take me through what will and will not be allowed in court.
Yeah, she drew those lines pretty quickly today, too. She had no trouble ruling right there on the spot. A lot of it had to do with evidence about Trayvon Martin, about his character, about his activities, and the judge down the line deciding that this has no place in this trial. Let's just look at the list. First of all is Trayvon Martin's school records. They won't be allowed. A jury won't be allowed to see them. They won't be allowed to know what sort of disciplinary problems he might have had in school, why he was serving a suspension while staying there in that condo complex in Sanford, Florida. The jury will not be able to see the text messages and the photographs that were taken off of his cell phone. Those photos showing that he had possibly a history of drug use, marijuana use, a fondness for guns, an interest in guns, also an interest in fighting. He had mentioned in text messages that he had been in a fight where he was going to have to fight a certain opponent again because he didn't bleed enough the first time. He had only punched him in the nose. Well, the prosecution wanted all of these to make sure that none of these were brought up in front of the jury. They didn't feel like they were relevant. The defense, however, said that it was going to be important to them because they're trying to show that George Zimmerman was not the aggressor here and that he was defending himself at the time that he pulled that gun out and shot and killed Trayvon Martin. But now they're not going to be able to use them. But you know how court cases are here. There could be a door open somewhere along in the trial where this information might somehow become relevant. The defense might in the future be able to argue to the judge, hey, look, we need to bring this in now because the prosecution is saying this. So that door is open on some of this stuff, but a lot of it today, the judge making it clear that this trial is about George Zimmerman and about his actions and not about Trayvon Martin.
Yeah, talking to several lawyers earlier, it sounds like this judge is running pretty tight ship, even starting this thing early today. David Mattingly for us in Sanford. David, thank you. We'll follow along right there with you. Meantime,